Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I got my man Cedric here. He is actually a subscriber, and he just found me on the street and said what's up. So,
Yeah. Just coincidences out here giving me something to eat. Ran into Echoes, and we chopped it up a bit. So hey, I love the channel. It's very hilarious and also very informative too. So.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Yes, sir, baby. Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to discuss a little bit of everything. We're going to discuss what I believe going forward in terms of the market. We're going to discuss a little bit of that bear market rally we had last week. And we're also going to discuss what's coming up this week and what you need to know regarding stocks, markets, and ultimately your money. But let me get a huge shout out. Let me give a huge shout out to Cedric, who I met today, literally just walking down the street. He's like, "What's up, Echoes?" And he was a really cool guy. He spoke to me. We chopped it up for a bit. We talked about Meet Kevin. We talked about stocks. We talked about a little bit of everything. He was a really cool dude. And yeah, that was awesome. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into this video. So here we go. So last week, right, the U.S. stock market had one of its best weeks in a month, with the S&P 500 rising by almost 7% and the NASDAQ rising by almost 8.5%. I know it was insane. I know some of you guys are probably having FOMO. I know, but wait, pump the brakes. Hold on a minute. At the same time, global stocks have gained $3.4 trillion in market cap this week after last week's sharp sell-off. Because remember, we had a sharp sell-off the week before, and then next thing you know, the market just started rallying. So it's pretty crazy. But like I said, I think it's a classic bear market rally, right? That's really what I think. Now, what triggered this rally? That's really what's important. So this rally was actually triggered because investors seem to be factoring in a lighter touch from the Federal Reserve in its battle against inflation. And believe it or not, I know it sounds crazy, but believe it or not, common sentiment among Wall Street right now is that a recession can be avoided. Now, obviously, you disagree with that. I disagree with that. Most of the people who really been paying attention strongly believe that there is no way in hell we avoid a recession. And I actually do strongly believe that. I don't think there's any way we're going to avoid a recession. I think we're 100% going to get a recession. But unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, I don't know, however you want to look at it, people on Wall Street actually do think that there is a possibility that a recession can be avoided. I don't know if they're listening to Jerome Powell. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Inflation expectations were also lowered. According to University of Michigan's final reading on consumer sentiment, inflation 5 to 10 years out had been revised lower to 3.1%, down from 3.3%, right? The S&P 500 as of right now, surprisingly, is not in a bear market anymore. I know, isn't that crazy? It was down 20%, but with this insane rally we saw last week, the S&P is actually down almost 18%. It's actually down about 17.6% right now. But however, even though we had that decent little bear market rally last week, the S&P 500 is still on track for its worst first half of any year since 1970. So again, we got another crazy historic metric going on, which in my opinion is a big red flag, right? On top of that, in other news, the World Bank president, David Malpass, said Sunday that the world economy is undergoing a sharp slowdown due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and warned that it will be difficult for some countries to avoid a recession. On top of that, the IMF/U.S. growth forecasting said that they see a narrowing path to avoid a recession. I agree. They now expect U.S. GDP to grow 2.9% in 2022. This is less than the most recent forecast of 3.7% in April. Okay. Now, in other news, I know, let me say this. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Chinese stocks have been on a rampage. Like, they really have. They seem to be going into a little bit of a bull market. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have actually seen 6 weeks of gains in Chinese stocks within the last 7 weeks. So within the last 7 weeks, 6 of them were green, and we saw gains in Chinese stocks. As a matter of fact, you have stocks like Alibaba, which is actually up 42% within the last 4 weeks. NIO is up 64%. And wait a minute, don't you do it. Before you dare in your life try to give Stockmo his credit, just remember, this is the same guy that had you guys buying NIO at $60 a share last year. So he does not get any credit for this. So don't be over here saying, oh, Stockmo's the greatest. He's a genius. No, he's not. He had you guys buying at the top, not at the bottom where we seem to have temporarily reached. But anyway, shout out to the Chinese stocks. That's really good. Now I want to go ahead and give you guys some updates on what's going to be happening this week regarding U.S. stocks and basically the global stock market. The U.S. will release a series of economic data this week. You got PCE, you got home sales, you got all kind of stuff like that. This will highlight the economy's performance amid the Fed's aggressive rate hike cycle. They're really going to want to see that. On top of that, once again, I know we're all tired of this. You have several Fed officials that are expected to speak this week. And I know we're all tired of it. It's like, why won't these old farts just shut up? Stop speaking every goddamn week and be quiet. Maybe we can actually have a rally and enjoy it, but whatever. Even though, low key, now that I think about it, the last few times the Fed has been speaking, the market is actually going green, which is kind of weird, right? But anyway, so you got several Fed presidents speaking. You got the New York Fed President John, San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly, Cleveland Fed President Loretta, and St. Louis Fed President James. They all speak this week. So this is going to be another heavy Fed speaking week. The Eurozone, this is other news, by the way. The Eurozone is due to release data on June consumer price inflation on Friday, which is expected to hit a new year-on-year record as energy and food price readjustments continue. Now, inflation in the Eurozone hit a record 8.1% in May. This is more than 4 times the ECB's target of 2% a year. Now, the inflation data is likely to further heat the debate over whether or not the ECB should raise interest rates further after the 25 percentage point rate hike scheduled for July, in a move that will represent its first step towards tightening of monetary policy in more than a decade. And so what does all of this mean? Well, it means all of this is important stuff that you're going to want to pay attention to, but how does that affect what you do with your money? As a matter of fact, what should you probably do with your money? Well, obviously I can't talk on that part, but here's what I'm doing with my money, right? Obviously, you guys know I bought some stocks, and I'm very happy that I did that. When the S&P was at 3,700, which is now at 3,900, as crazy as that is, when it was at 3,700, I started to buy some stocks. So what did I buy? I bought Facebook. I bought Bank of America. Here's what I truly, honestly believe will happen. The market may continue to rally. Because remember, in Q1, we saw this. We saw a strong bear market rally. I think it took place in like March and April. We saw this happen where it rallied, and guess what? We made that next leg down. Trust me when I say this. I strongly believe we will make that next leg down. We'll probably have a nice little bear market rally, and then something's going to happen, and we're going to make that next leg down. And then once that happens and the S&P starts to go to 3,700, 36, 3,500, whatever it ends up getting to, somewhere where I'm comfortable and I feel like stocks have gotten dirt cheap, I will be buying again. You guys already know what's on my watch list. It's mostly, and I'll add more. Obviously, I'm still staying away from tech for now. Well, besides Meta, but I have Meta. I got Bank of America. I did buy the S&P 500, which I'm very happy that I did that. Those are kind of the things that I'll continue to look to when the market makes that next leg down. And also keep in mind, I could be completely wrong. Maybe we go right back into a bull market. I strongly, strongly doubt it, but you never freaking know, right? So just keep that in mind when you're listening to me, and always remember, you never want to take financial advice from a YouTuber. Obviously, I'm not giving financial advice, but you get the point. This isn't necessarily directed at me. This is really directed at everybody, but mostly the grifters, because I know you guys watch them too. YouTube tells me that you watch them. Don't you lie to me, boy. YouTube tells me. But anyway, there you guys have it. Hopefully this video was helpful. That will actually go ahead and conclude today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.